So listen, I thought I was only spending a few dollars here and there, but when I added it all up, it was near dang well $500. And this was just one of my bank accounts. I didn't even do all bank accounts. And during this process, I found 5 spending patterns I didn't even realize I had. And I had to admit, I was honestly very nervous and scared to do this video because I almost didn't even want to look up what I was spending in a month because I knew it was going to be crazy. But I know you guys have my back, so we don't have to worry about that. And we're gonna go through this together. I honestly think I'm gonna need you guys to just hold my hand. Like, please just hold it. And of course, as always, give me any constructive feedback if you see something that I could do better at or things that you have tried that has worked. So this was the first pattern I saw. So I would buy groceries and then I would be eating out quite a bit. The groceries I spent for the month of March was $302. But on takeout, I was spending $206 for the month of March. And keep in mind, this was just one account, so I didn't even go into my other bank accounts. And if you guys are interested, I will definitely do it all across all accounts because it's probably more than this. So when I saw this, discovered that I was spending so much in takeout plus the groceries, all I could think to myself was, what the heck was I thinking? Because what I noticed in the data is I would constantly break it up and go to the grocery store multiple times throughout the month or sometimes throughout the week. But you don't realize it because those small expenses kind of add up. Those small little days where you're like, oh, let me just go to the grocery store and go get one thing, really doesn't always be one thing, for me at least. When I say I'm gonna get one thing, then I end up buying a bunch of things, and then I guess those little amounts add up, even though you think like, oh, I'm not spending that much. I noticed that if I forgot something and I would go to Walmart, then 3 days later I would then go to a different grocery store. Oh, I forgot this, and then I'll go to Sobeys another day. And then it starts to really add up. I didn't realize how much it was adding up when I would go to different grocery stores. So let me show you a little bit more in detail. So basically on March 23rd, it looks like I went twice. So I went to Walmart and then I went to Sobeys. And only God knows why I went twice. Now, I may have gotten toiletries, I may have gotten other things, but unfortunately I don't remember. And then on March 18th, I went to Walmart and then I spent like $91. And I believe I got other things maybe that added on to that other than just food. But when I looked at it, I was like, did I really just go like only a few days later? But it was interesting to see my pattern that I went multiple times to the grocery store, and I don't think I realized it until I started really tracking the money I was spending. And I believe I have this thing in my mind where I'm like, well, I'm not gonna spend that much. I try to keep it under a certain amount. So it's like, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars at the grocery store, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's too much, or that's too much food. But what ended up happening is usually I'll try to keep under a certain threshold. And so then I end up therefore going multiple times, and then it just adds up all together. And now everything goes out the window. So I'm very curious to know if you guys just go one time per month, or do you go like multiple times through the week, or do you have like a dedicated day that you go? And do you find like it makes you save money or not, kind of type thing? Or do you find that it makes you save more money if you do it a certain way versus the other? Now let's talk about this takeout part, okay? I know we're spending about $200 on takeout just for this one account. So here's the thing that I was getting caught up on. So when I would go takeout, I would tell myself, oh, like I'm gonna only spend this amount of money. Like it's not like I'm spending like $20, $40 on takeout. So I would usually try to do these small purchases that are like $6, $10 for the takeout. But I quickly learned, watching my pattern, I definitely love going to Morgan. I realized I was going on as often until I looked at the data, right? That data, I'm telling you. And I was going like multiple times, which is crazy. I guess I'm the crazy one. It's not crazy, I'm the crazy one. It's like, I should just be an ambassador for Tim Hortons at this point. So this seriously brought my total to like $508. That's insane for me. But I'm quickly learning, just because you have the money doesn't mean you need to spend it. Or just because I'm feeling for something doesn't mean I need to spend it. I can figure it out otherwise from home. So definitely a goal of mine is to work on bringing down the takeout. So the grocery was fine, like I'm not too shocked about that, but I would love to work on bringing it down. So maybe it's like only once a week or something, where I'm just doing once a week on takeout or something like that. Or even if it's twice a week, and then get it down to like half that, like $100 per month or something. Like that would be like the next goal for me for the month of April. We'll find out. So the next pattern I saw was I like to spend out of convenience just because I was probably unprepared or I was just tired, girl. So sometimes depending on work, sometimes I'll choose to do overtime, but sometimes work will call me maybe an hour or two and then I don't have enough time to make something like eat breakfast, whatever it may be, because I have to prepare for other things. And then what would happen is then I get caught in then buying takeout throughout the day because I don't have any snacks or anything. And usually what I try to do is I try to bring snacks, whether that's fruits, crackers, anything I enjoy eating, and then I'll bring it with me so I can have it throughout my shift. But I found that if I don't bring nothing at all, because what will happen too is like for that time being, I won't feel like eating that thing, so sometimes I won't bring it. I'll just like, oh, I'll get something. But what I'm realizing is, and I'm usually grateful for, is I'll bring the food that I don't feel like eating for that day. And then usually I'm very grateful because by the time I get hungry, I'll eat it. But I realize that a lot of my patterns is like out of convenience. Like I will buy stuff out of convenience. So I think the next goal of mine is just to be better prepared and bring something even if I think I'm not going to eat it. Because convenient is like, it's that silent killer, eh? Convenience, because you end up spending more because you have the money. But it doesn't mean you should spend it. And so the next pattern I noticed is that I believe that just because I was making small purchases, and I know I said this in the first one, but I want to go a little deeper. In my mind, I have this mindset where I'm like, well, if I'm making a small purchase right now, it doesn't mean it's going to add up to a whole lot because it's not like I'm spending like $45 at a restaurant or $70 at a restaurant. I hope that makes sense. So what I was doing throughout that month as well is there was times where I would go to Raba. It's just a store in Toronto where you can go. It's like a convenience store, but a more glorified one. And I'll sometimes get their meal, like their chicken meal for like $11. And I'm like, oh, that's not bad. But I realized that if I'm going over and over again, and then you're spending, for example, $6 5 times, that's easily $30. And there's 30 days in a month. So if you kept on doing that, it adds up real quick. $30 a week. Right? You do the math. You do the math. I know you're a smart girl. The fourth pattern was I noticed I'm definitely very repetitive when it comes to my weaknesses. So I definitely like a good treat. And I'll tend to do it over and over again. So I'm one of those people, when I like something, I'll just keep on going back over and over again until I get tired of it. Tell me if there's someone else like me. I can't be the only one. And so for this specific month, like I told you, we know about Tim Hortons, but there's a few times where I went for some treats. And then most of the time it's like just going for the treats where I'm like, I'll get a donut here, or I'll find this bakery and I'm like, oh, let me try it. I feel so generous today. It's a Friday. Especially if it's a Friday, I find I'll spend more in that day or a Saturday. Because I guess our time is more idle, or you feel like, oh, well, it's the end of the week, so let me spend something. Let me treat myself. That will be the death of me. I think my goal would be for April is not to get out of that treating mindset. I think treating is good, but not like excessively, not so repetitive to the point where it's causing you to spend more. And the next pattern I saw was like when I like something, I'll get it over and over again. But my goal is like, if I see, for example, I'm always getting like loaded breakfast bowls from Tim Hortons. That's a sign that, okay, so maybe I should be buying hash browns from the grocery store that's like $3, and then egg that's like $4 or $5, and then little sausage. And then make my own loaded bowls by myself. That's like $7 for the sausage, and so that way I can make multiple bowls for less money. So you're probably paying what, like $15. And so that's something I want to like test out and try to do more of, and I could always follow up in April. But I want to test out just making more things from home that I enjoy, so I'm not spending as much money outside with things that I like, because there's absolutely no excuse in this day and age. And I did spend other things, like what I would consider like literally like self-care, things I treated myself to. A bra. I don't think I buy bras often enough. I would like to know how often you're buying bras, because I feel like I usually buy the bra when the bra is on its last string. So for the month of March, I spent, I think it was like, I put the total here, it was like $132.87, and I said this was like for the bras. I paid for a bra. I went to Dollarama. So usually if I go to Dollarama, I'm probably getting a treat, but I'm also getting like regular stuff, like household items that I want around the house. So we have to keep that in mind. With that little expense, I feel like I couldn't really slap myself too much, because I was like, okay, well, I need the bra. And I actually want to work on getting more bras, even if it's every few weeks or every few months, and just like really stacking up good bras instead of wearing the same ones, like having 2 or 3 and just wearing the same ones over and over, and catch it before the bras die. basically. I did have other fixed like subscriptions, like for example, I spend $141 per month, and that includes my internet and phone, and then gas. I spent $195 for the month of March. But those are regular necessities. But all in all, I have to say, if you guys have not took the time yet to look through your statements to see your pattern, you need to. It's crazy, because you'll discover things about yourself where you're like, dang, I have a pattern. Like, I didn't realize I had a pattern. Now, I knew I had a routine, but I didn't know I had like 5 different patterns. It's so eye-opening, and I learned a little bit more about myself. It's very cool to see how I move and how I think and like why I spent that money. And guys, this is only one account. I haven't even checked my other accounts yet. And I already know it's probably, the amount's gonna be probably way higher. So if you want me to do part 2, let me know.